Welcome to Old Wheels Hub, the home of classic cars and automotive history. Today, we're exploring why vintage cars are slowly disappearing from our roads and what this means for the future of automotive culture. Imagine driving down an American highway in the 1950s or 1960s. The roads are filled with long, shiny cars covered in chrome, powerful V8 engines rumbling under the hood, and designs so beautiful that people stop just to admire them. These were the golden days of the automobile. But if you look around today, those cars are becoming harder and harder to find. Modern SUVs, electric vehicles, and fuel-efficient sedans have replaced the classics that once ruled the streets. So what happened? Why are vintage cars disappearing? And will they ever make a comeback? Today, we're exploring the real reasons behind the decline of vintage cars. To understand the answer, we first need to understand what makes a car vintage. Generally, vehicles that are more than 25 to 30 years old and represent the design and engineering of their era are considered vintage or classic cars. They are admired for their craftsmanship, unique styling, and mechanical simplicity. Unlike modern cars packed with computers and sensors, many vintage cars can be repaired with basic tools and mechanical knowledge. But despite their charm, they face challenges that modern vehicles do not. The first reason is safety. In the past, cars were built differently. Seat belts were optional in many models, airbags didn't exist, and crash testing was far less advanced than it is today. Modern cars are designed with crumple zones, reinforced cabins, anti-lock braking systems, traction control, and dozens of safety features that protect passengers during an accident. A beautiful classic car may look strong, but compared to today's standards, it offers much less protection. As governments introduced stricter safety regulations, manufacturers had to redesign vehicles completely, making the old designs impossible to continue as everyday transportation. The second reason is environmental regulations. Many vintage cars use large engines that consume a lot of fuel. They also produce significantly more emissions than modern vehicles. Over the last few decades, countries around the world have introduced strict emission standards to reduce pollution and improve air quality. Catalytic converters, electronic fuel injection, and hybrid technology became common. Vintage engines were never designed for these requirements. As a result, driving older vehicles became more expensive and, in some places, more restricted. The third reason is maintenance. Owning a vintage car is very different from owning a modern one. Finding original replacement parts can take weeks or even months. Some parts are no longer manufactured at all and must be custom-made or purchased from collectors. Repairing these cars also requires specialized mechanics who understand older technology. Even a small restoration project can cost thousands of dollars. For many people, the expense simply isn't practical. Another major reason is changing consumer expectations. Today's drivers expect comfort, convenience, and technology. They want touchscreens, Bluetooth connectivity, backup cameras, adaptive cruise control, heated seats, and advanced navigation systems. Modern cars provide all of these features while also being quieter, more fuel-efficient, and easier to drive. Vintage cars offer a completely different experience, one based on mechanical feel rather than digital convenience. For enthusiasts, that's part of the magic. But for everyday drivers, convenience usually wins. The rise of electric vehicles is also changing the automotive world. Major manufacturers are investing billions of dollars into electric technology. Governments are encouraging cleaner transportation, and charging infrastructure continues to expand. As the industry moves toward an electric future, traditional gasoline-powered vintage cars naturally become less common on public roads. This doesn't mean they are disappearing forever. Instead, their role is changing. Today, many vintage cars are treated as valuable collector's items rather than daily transportation. Rare models sell for hundreds of thousands or even millions of dollars at auctions. Owners carefully restore them to original condition and preserve them for future generations. Museums, car shows, and classic rallies continue to celebrate these incredible machines. Instead of being driven every day, they are now protected as important pieces of automotive history. And perhaps that's exactly why people still love them. Vintage cars have personality. Every engine sound is unique, Every steering wheel tells a story. Every scratch and every mile reflects a different era of design and engineering. Modern cars may be faster, safer, and more efficient, but many enthusiasts believe they can never replace the emotion and character of a true classic. So, are vintage cars disappearing? From everyday roads, yes. But from history and from the hearts of car lovers, absolutely not. They remain symbols of innovation, craftsmanship, and a time when automobiles were built not only for transportation but also for style and passion. And as long as people continue restoring, collecting, and celebrating these legendary machines, the spirit of vintage cars will never fade. If you enjoyed this journey through automotive history, make sure to subscribe to Old Wheels Hub. Here, we bring legendary classic cars, forgotten automotive stories, and timeless machines back to life. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.